A very pleasant morning to you all. I'm sure you all would actually be into a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension throughout your life, both from pressure outside the world as well as your group, your family members. So inside home, outside home, wherever you would talk about, it's all about being competitive. But have you ever wondered what kind of skills make us competitive? What are the skills that are going to help us navigate the career world? So today we're going to learn about soft skills. Perhaps have you ever wondered why are soft skills really called as soft skills? What is actually that goes into making people soft? Are they really required to be soft? We have been trained throughout our schooling, throughout our graduation, into technical skills, into hardcore skills, maybe mathematical skills. Your English faculty would have been telling you to be flawless into the grammar, into the vocabulary, so on and so forth. Your science teacher would have asked you to conduct a lot of experiments in the laboratory. However, did you ever wonder that the world is a lab wherein you need to explore and get into the concept of winning the world? So therefore, we are going to discuss winning career skills today. Now, why are they called as career skills? Can you think about it? So what are we going to discuss? That if you can see through this image that I take you through on this slide. Now there are people who are into a conversation, into a group format. Everybody trying to be probably Prime Minister Modi, the next Obama, so on and so forth. But then what is going to really help them to escape the danger position, to reach to the desired position? So let me take you further, and we'll be focusing upon two very important aspects which are really required for you to get not a job but a career. And we are going to discuss upon group discussion today. Now, why is it that companies take a lot of group discussions, and why are they so pertinent? Is it really required? Are they really necessary? Why is it that everybody is required to speak and speak and speak, and the ones who are the silent spectators in the group discussion, they get no vote from the recruiter? Now, if very normally speaking, group discussion refers to a group of people who are into a constant conversation. But have you really seen the kind of group discussions that people really get into? They are not group discussions, they get into group debates. Now that is really the problem. People, now understand, what is group discussion all about? Group discussion is about people, right? And people are usually confused. Why are they confused? Because they have a problem at hand surrounding people again. So the more the kind of problems they have, the more confused they are. They try to reach to a decision through discussion, however, they'll end up being into debates. So therefore, the first slide is going to communicate a very basic point, that you have to focus yourself to remain to a group discussion and not let it boil up to group debate. Right? So just I'm sure that you can get through whatever is written on the slide. So just 10 seconds to take you through. Now perhaps here we'll just take a short snap of while wherein you've got to realize that people are evaluating you. And it's not only the recruiter but the people who are into the group. Now do they vote you as a group leader? Do they accept you as a group leader? Are you a follower into the group discussion, or is it something that you're just claiming yourself to be a Me Too category? So let's explore further what are the further skills and what actually happens into a group discussion. Now the structure as ordained by the recruiter is that he gives you a topic or a case probably for a group discussion. Now what happens? Now why is it that there are only 8 to 10 people? Why not 15 to 20? Why not 25 to 30? Why does he restrict himself to a small group set of 8 to 10? Ever wondered? Think for a while. While we go on further, it's not only about that he comes up with a type of a constraint or a kind of a limit on the group members, but he also creates a time limit that he's given the topic for you to discuss upon. Now a particular topic we may or may not be acquainted with, we are not familiar with that topic ever. I may not be knowing the content upon it, but I'm supposed to discuss, and I'm going to get the vote as the prime group member, the group leader who is going to join the organization next, right? I'm going to be taken further and get into the interview process. Now there are a set of people again who are confused. One tries to be a leader, he tries to dominate, it becomes the fish market, so on and so forth. Now coming back to the question that I raised to you a few moments ago. So it's like a leaderless group. Anybody can initiate, anybody can talk about anything. But then do remember that there is a time limit and there are just 10 people. Now come to the very basic point, the most important part of this video. Do analyze. Now there are 10 people and 10 minutes. So how much time do you think that any group member has for a group discussion? It is just 1 minute of your life that is going to take you through your particular fortune job. That is the job that you wanted to do. That's your dream job. You cannot afford to miss. Throughout your kindergarten, throughout your schooling, throughout your graduation, you've been just focused upon one important minute which is going to decide whether you are going to be taken further by the organizational rounds, maybe you would be eliminated, rejected, or yes, if God wants it, you will be accepted. So therefore, let's take things ahead now. How many of us are really fond of getting up in the morning and racing ourselves to the school, to the college, to the jobs? Probably none. So it's not only your preparation, your hard work, but it's the industriousness of your parents that has gone into making that 1 minute for you. The kind of jobs that you desired, the kind of job profile, the kind of salary package, the kind of fortune, the incentives, the promotional packages, so on and so forth, that is just going to boil down to that 1 single minute. To remember that. Now, like further taking up, have you ever thought, why is group discussion always into a U shape? Why not that we are not supposed to face each other? Why is it that we are always asked to maintain an eye contact with everybody? Why? It is really important for you to sit into a U shape wherein you decide that yes, we are unity. Until unless we are united for each other, or if we are not united with each other, what will be the consequences? If I have to be a group, I have to be unanimous with all. Now there may be a choice of seat to you in case. Now this is again the second most important part of this video, that yes, if there is a choice of seat for you, please may ensure that if it is your day, you realize that. If you know that it's the organization that you would like to work with anyhow, any day, please ensure that you are seated just in front of the recruiter's eye, that's at the center of the group. Very, very significant. Now the panel observes and evaluates the kind of a person who is of course the center of attraction, right? So this is one kind of a seating formula that I would like to discuss and take you through this slide. Well, moving ahead, now the recruiters evaluate you onto various categories which are knowledge. So the kind of content that you're going to discuss. Communication skills, is it that you go wrong with pronunciation? My friend, it's high time that you need to correct. Next is your group behavior. How do you behave in group? Now it's not about individual behavior. Organizations always get their roles, their targets accomplished always in the group format. And of course your leadership potential. Well, to take you further into just a snapshot of what all these communication skills cover, it's about active listening. Now we all do try to listen to people around us throughout our lives, but then what is active listening here? Active listening is all about getting to know what people might be thinking, what my other group member might be speaking 2 minutes hence. So I need to think further to him. So it's all about future thinking. Next is, am I able to word my thoughts and expressions very clearly into the kind of words that I wrap them in? And to top it all, my pronunciation. Next is the apt language, appropriateness of body language. Lucidity is clarity of your thoughts, your expressions, your body language. Now do remember that I would like to take you through one of the very significant and a very popular concept, which is by Mehrabian model. Now there's Albert Mehrabian, who has given this concept wherein he says in 1963 that there's 100% communication happening, right, from one person to another. However, there's 93% of the communication that takes place through body language. That means even if I do not speak at all, I say it all. That is the impact of the kind of colors you wear, the kind of color combinations, the permutation combination that you sit with the group members, the kind of tone that you use is really significant, and 7% is the impact of words. So just think for a while. Throughout your kindergarten, the moment you were born, you've been trained to speak. You've been given a choice of words and you've got to be so very selective with them. But imagine It's only the 7% impact that you've been working hard throughout your life. Now, is that justified? Let's explore things ahead. Now, coming to the power of speech. We all know influential leaders here. Maybe Prime Minister Modi to recall, maybe Obama, President Obama, US to name here, Donald Trump next. So therefore, you've got to understand that modulation is really significant. If I'm into a speech, maybe for a single minute, it is really important for me to carry variation in my tones. So intonations, as one word if I would like to club into, is really significant. We all are fond of songs, right? We all have our huge list of favorite songs. But what is it that makes my song, that particular song favorite to me? It's about variation in the tone. Just imagine that there's some leader who is going to speak into a monotone. How long can you listen? So therefore, you need to add that spice, that active, that enthusiasm, that zeal into your tone, no matter the kind of words that you choose, right? So therefore, you need to be a communicator into your group discussion. Well, taking things ahead further, your apt language is about very simple and being clear. You cannot afford to be ambiguous. Ambiguous? That is talking into double meaning things. Well, since I have more to discuss, I'll quickly move towards very significant part that yes, all the organizations would be looking forward to. That's your leadership skills. We all know managers, they are good into keeping things at bay. They are into keeping things into records. They want smooth functioning of the organization, various departments, so on and so forth. But what organizations leaders actually do, they are more than managers. They can think ahead. They take initiation into various projects may or may not think about. There are certain deadlines, both in project, the job quality, the kind of time deadline, so on and so forth. So therefore, a leader has to be very objective in his decision making. He cannot be influenced by people around him, what they want. It is just that he needs to be focused with the organizational perspectives. Well, moving ahead, you should never point out fingers. Now, very important part once again here. So if you are into using a lot of hands in group discussion, well, somehow like me, so therefore what you can do is you can use pen. Now, the moment you carry pen between your two first fingers, it is going to make things easier for you. And let me tell you, very subtle point, any quality of a professional is that they carry pen with them. So do ensure that on that day of your interview, you are carrying a good pen. And yes, if you are very animated into your thoughts and expression, you get influenced or agitated by people around you, you get that emotional fuel from them, please ensure that you can carry your pen as a weapon. Remember, it is mightier than the sword. Well, taking you further, now it's about facial expressions as well. The moment we know that there's a topic that interests me, that is something of my domain, probably we coincide the topic and your level or area of interest, immediately there's a gleam in your eyes, your pupils enlarge. So if there is a facial expression like that, please ensure that you do not get as animated as you should be. Okay, second point here. If you are blessed, if it is a moment of fortune for you that you have certain friends being grouped into the similar group for you, into a form of your group discussion, please ensure that your friend is just sitting next to you, maybe diagonally, totally opposite. How is it going to help you? I'll just share. Now, whenever you are into making an eye contact, the moment you will be looking to this person here, you would be taking your eye contact to other people as well. Since you would like to explore how are others contributing, are they agreeing to your idea or not. So therefore, do not make an eye contact just thinking that there are just other people or maybe I have to do that as a formality. It is really required for you to evaluate your own points. You should be knowing what if the other member is ready to pull in his point. Got to ensure that you keep them at bay with your eye contact if it could be. Well, if I am not interested into the topic, that should not be revealed either. Now, this is one kind, and of course there are 2 points. The first point I have already mentioned here. Please ensure that if the kind of chair that is given to you into the group discussion, you do not slouch, and that is in capital and bold. Always ensure that you are sitting up straight. Yes, and you need to develop the interest of the recruiter to you. There could be many Nehas, there could be many Amans who would be sitting into the group discussion, various group discussions. But how is this Neha different from the other? How is this Pooja different from the other? You've got to register yourself into the mind of the recruiter by your name. Very significant. Okay, now, a lot of people get emotionally charged up when they are into a group discussion. But when do you say that the person had been really mature into taking his decisions? And how many of us, day in and day out, fight out with this mental and emotional battle? We all are into conflict with our heart and the mind. So therefore, what I really need to work upon is my inside. Of course, because the next part is interview. I have to view myself internally to be prepared for the next level, right? So therefore, I have to ensure that I'm not people-centric, I am ego-centric less. So therefore, I have to ensure that I'm less into ego, I'm less into emotions, but yes, I'm directly straight and focused without much of emotions to me, and that's my target and objective, that is to be selected into the organization. Now there are a few people, and that's a common mistake into group discussion, that many of us lack the consistency in participation. A lot of us, they either begin the group discussion and then they are silent throughout, they think that their job is done. There are few who would like to say, okay, yes, my dear friend, I support you. So they fall into that Me Too category. And the third one, they of course would like to end the group discussion because they really feel, and probably, I don't know whether it's their perception or what, that they think the recruiter is going to remember the person who spoke the last. That's not the case, my dear. We all want consistency in participation. That's very true and very justified. I'm sure that if you would be onto the other side of the table, wherein you would be recruiting a candidate, would you not want them to be consistent in their participation day in and day out? Of course, yes. Okay, next is many of them just sit there and they would think that it's not my job to look into or maybe respond to the group discussion. That would be wrong. A few of you forget about time. They forget that GD lasts only for 10 minutes and they just have 1 minute to prove their worth to the recruiter. Okay, ability to handle turbulent situations. There are few people who get very loud, they get aggressive, and they are voted in by everybody. Everybody accepts their dominance. The people who remain silent get knocked out, and the people who spoke the most get recruited. Whose fault is it? The people who remain silent are submissive both at home, the similar behavior and procedure they follow into these as well. Whose folly is it, my friend? It's yours. So ability to cut excessively exuberant participants down to their sizes, because you know that group discussion is all about democracy. You have to practice democracy to the utmost level, wherein everybody is equal for everything. Okay, you need not bully anybody, you should not be passing down personal comments. Well, a few points here for the do's, wherein your attire, very, very formal and professional. You need not carry a lot of, this is for females I would say, do not carry a flashy colors on your nails or anywhere. You need to be very simple and sober. We do not want models into the organization. We want people who would really work. So do not wear flashy and bright colors, and of course be very natural. Do not try to pose an accent if you do not have it. So let's be very real. While sitting on the chair, do not slouch. Again, a point that I would like to mention here. And please maintain a very comfortable position both while standing or sitting. Now, sitting very comfortably does not mean that you are going to cross your feet. Never ever do that, especially in the cases when you do not know the topic. So if you do not know the topic, please ensure that you have very open arms and open legs, wherein you're not going to cross the legs like this, or you're not going to maintain a posture like this. This is going to cut you off from the entire group discussion and you will fail the moment you start doing it. Okay. Always speak as early as possible, because it could be that the topic being common, you might not think very differently during that few minutes of your life, right? So please ensure that you start speaking the moment GD is on. Okay. Do not try to identify your supporters or opponents, but yes, if you do that, and if you're able to do that prior, that the vote is in your favor. You will have a comfortable time. Well, keeping track of time is a very much to Please do that. Please do that. If you do not have a wristwatch, if you are more fond of seeing time from your mobile screens, please, I would again advise that carry a wristwatch. That's extremely important. Okay. Do not try to snatch chances from others. Maintain a decent eye contact. Don't try to threaten others through your body language. Take down notes if you find a strong opponent and try to build a point against it. Well, there's one point which is not mentioned on this slide. There's one point which is not mentioned on the slide, and I would like you to keep it in mind throughout your life, which is that if you fall short of words, please go back to idioms and proverbs. So that's the best way to summarize your ideas and thoughts into that simple 1 minute. Very, very crucial. Okay, next, never be in a hurry. If you are silent, I'm telling you, you are digging your own grave. So never assume the role of the chairman that yes, if you've introduced the topic or you are taking an extreme stance, you are going to be into the good books of the recruiter. May or may not be the case. Never ever look at the moderator. You are not there to evaluate the evaluator. You are there to actually make your points. Really important. Do not move excessively into your chairs. If that's the only position, of course, that you're blessed with for those few minutes, do ensure that you are not throwing all your ideas in one shot. People can just absorb one thing at a time. Though we are blessed with 2 years, but then we can think one thought, and we can take down one thought into us at one time. Never speak very fast, because people will never grab you. And then never digress from the topic. I'm telling you, that is the other point of danger that you'll be getting into. Indulging in ill conversation, going off the track, paying attention to bulldozers and using slangs are the other pieces of information that I would like you to keep in mind to never practice. Okay, now since we never get emotional and we never should, this slide is just going to take you through one image that I took from Google. So which says that his points are really like poison, so I should not take them, right? Do you think that's valid? No. You should be listening to everybody equally, because you are there as a judge, you are there as a participant, you are there as a member, just like into your family. When will I get a chance to speak? There are others who struggle for their chances. I'm right, I know everything is one kind of a formula or one kind of a philosophy that few people have. Should not be the case. Now, if I get influenced by somebody's ideas, is it valid for me to change my stance? No, a red cross to this. I'm not interested into the topic that the recruiter has given. I know nothing about it. I'm not going to speak anything. Never ever do that. Try to get yourself into the shoes of the people that the topic is given to you and try to speak from their perspective. So one small case study that I would like you to take up through. What is more important to people, hard work or smart work? I'm sure many of you consider yourself to be smart, and yes, you may be, but then few of us get into this paradox wherein we feel that yes, all the success that we've got so far into our lives is because of smart work. But that's not the case. Sorry. Really sorry. It's not about smart work. The people who've got smart today, it's all because of their hard work. Now your parents, you've got the wealth of your parents. Is it that were there smartphones during their times? No. So all the success that comes to you, if you are going to discover the shortest path to reach to your college, to reach to a particular destination, it's because you worked hard on all other routes and you found out that this is the shortest path. So therefore, if you would say that you are a smart worker, there is no shortcut to success, and the people who work hard will eventually get you through. We all know the story about tortoise and rabbit here. Yes, needless to mention. So the people who appreciate rabbit, of course, are going to run faster in the race. The people who are going to run longer is the category that I'm sure you would be aware of. Well, let's take things here. Now, if you would call upon the work, if you say that yes, you really work, so this is how, if these criteria are met, only then you would call that yes, whether it is work or not, basically speaking here. So if you're very specific into the task that has been given to you, if you can measure it, you are achieving it, you feel that yes, it's a realistic achievement which is happening, and you have time deadlines to yourself, only then it is work. Okay, very small effort here. This image which says that there is a person who had been working hard for 25 days but could not cut a tree. It's not that tree was a mammoth size, but then it was an axe which was not sharpened. So therefore, even though there are hefty trees around you, a lot of opportunities, a lot of problems, but then problems become opportunities if you have the right tools. So if you are skilled equally into all parameters, that is communication skills, leadership skills, your mathematical skills, scientific decision making skills, and last but never the least, your interpersonal skills, which are manifested into the group discussions that are being taken by the organization, you'd surely remember this, that it is something that goes into making a perfect personality. If you really want to be competent into this competitive world, you really need to think hard, you really need to think twice the direction that you are going to and where you would like to lead yourself to. So thank you, and therefore all the best for throughout your life.